We've reached the end, my friends. This is Aliens Earth War, issue 404. And I love this cover. Because remember, the Queen Mother Alien was revealed in the last issue where she's sitting atop her own like excrement and eggs and whatnot. And then she's standing there, this matriarch ready to take on Ripley. And so I just love this artist's rendition and just give that intense feeling. Just great artwork overall. Now, this is Mark Van Heiden, writer, Sam Kieth, artist, Pat Purcell, lettering, Monica Livingston, colorist, Diana Schultz, editor, John Bolton, cover artist. And this was printed in October 1990. Now, let me set some context before we get into the beginning of this book. We kind of touched on it. I believe it was in issue 2, where there's these survivors that we sort of follow on Earth. And I look at it as a sort of juxtaposition, kind of like Grant Morrison did for the, I can't remember the pirate's name in Watchmen, but how we kind of go into that comic world and then everything would kind of inking back to what's going on in the real world. So sort of what's happening here with Earth and in space. Amy, Uncle Joe, or Uncle Paul, and I can't remember the other dude's name. We'll get into that in a minute. But they are survivors in the ruins of Earth, and they are using all these different satellites to bounce off of to just. They're at this point, they're not expecting rescue. They're just trying to keep everyone posted on what the hell's going on in Earth. And so this is them doing another one. And I love how we start to see these little happy things and showing how derelict they are to just show how far and nasty this world has become. It says it's cold. So cold. The Earth we knew is gone. The aliens have taken it as their own. We have been on the run for weeks. Power to the satellite uplinks went out when the creatures finally severed the main undergrounds. There would be no more transmissions. Paul, I used to come here when I was a kid. There were more sophisticated attractions down by the shore, three-dimensional stuff, infra-light gravity chambers, but I was preoccupied with machines. For some reason, we don't feel the creatures like the others. We've been able to resist her mental lure. I don't know why back then, but now I think I understand. They never knew pain, the fear of death. And if you never live, you can never die. There's kind of a immortality of that. That's enough, Paul. And then Amy, the little innocent girl. You used to play here? Now the guy's saying we are resisting the Queen Alien's mental lure while she uses the others to breed her children. Amy's all I have left. So when she's asking Paul if he used to play her, she goes, show me. Show me what it was like. Pretend for me. That should be easy. We've been pretending for months, pretending there's a chance, pretending there's a reason to go on. And then we see this coiled tail. And the alien just rips into their hiding spot. And again, pre-digital art world. Holy crap, that is amazing work. And we see him cold cock the alien. Paul, get her away from here. Daddy! And then, to again add some more substance to this, since we're going over series 3 of the first Alien comics created by Dark Horse, we see these deformed humans. The way the infestation on Earth happened, there was a guy named Salvahay who created essentially a death cult, saying that the true Messiah would bond with you, and you give birth to you'd be a holy incubator. And so this, what's the name? It's not Weyland-Yutani. MedTech, I think is the name of it. They get a Queen Alien, and they're trying to experiment. Salvahay and his cults break in, get themselves infected, and they run. That's what started the infection on Earth. Now, these are like the leftovers of the cultists. And look at how far they deformed in the years since Earth fell. They go, we've been looking for you. She's been looking for you. And what they do is they take survivors and they bring them to the aliens on Earth to be breeding stock. So we're thinking, oh crap, Newt hasn't gotten to really see what's happened since their return or from their mission. So they're now just returning to Gateway Station. Our journey back to Earth had been an eerie stillness to it. How did old-time sailors put it? The calm before the storm? Gateway Station was like a jewel, suspended above the blue curve of Earth, stripped of context. It glittered with rare beauty. We had stolen the aliens' queen, Mother Queen, and we would use her to gather and then destroy the children on Earth. Now, two things I want to lay down here. Again, some more context. In the first series, Newt and Hicks end up on this planet that they think is the aliens' homeworld. They run into this creature that hates the aliens, and it has all these, it's very sophisticated, it can read minds, etc., so forth. And it follows Newt and Hicks back to Earth. Now, it hates the alien, almost to a point of like paranoia. And we'll get more into him in a minute, but I just want to put that in your craw. Now, Ripley here. Ripley spent hours on the security deck watching the Queen, just waiting, watching. I found my piece in the soulless emptiness of space. Ripley found hers in the pitless confines of the alien's Queen pod. I've been studying it, the way it moves, the way it thinks. It knows. She knows everything. I thought that by surrounding her with the hides of her dead, she would withdraw into the sanctity of the pod. That's not it at all. Christ, Newt, she knows, and she doesn't care. Dun dun dun. Plot thickens. Now, going back to the other alien. We've lost all communications with Earth since you left atmospheric. Static makes transmissions and receptions almost impossible. What about the satellite uplinks? The little girl. Anyone left on Earth belongs to the alien. That little girl's dead. For her sake, I pray she's dead. God, no. There's something else. We picked it up not long after you left. We've been getting bizarre temperature readings from the surviving high-altitude weather markers. The global temperature has dropped an average of 15 to 20 degrees. What the hell are you talking about? Near as we can tell, the methodology mimics our own terraforming technology. We tracked the energy source into space and managed to pull a long-range chroma off one of the surviving spy satellites. And so we see it's the derelict. And we come to find out that these other beings are the ones that were on Acheron. Newt had a psychic encounter with it, and that's how she found out the hatred for it and how it found out where Earth was. And she goes, it's the other. Its companion died on Acheron, long before the Nostromo. Long before any of it. It followed us as we searched for the alien's homeworld. Then it returned with us to Earth. We thought it shared our hatred of the alien, but it wanted Earth, not. So, not only are they trying to fight out the infestation of the Xenomorph, they also have this guy who wants this alien that wants to take the planet for itself. So it's essentially terraforming it into the conditions it wants. And Ripley says, we're wasting time, damn it. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters except those things. Didn't you hear me? That creature, whatever the hell it is employing terraforming technology. There won't be any Earth left if we don't. Don't you get it? This isn't about Earth. This is for me. For those creatures. Once those creatures are dead, I'm through with it. You see, it's easier when you just don't give a shit. The military, the corporation, they brought the alien to Earth for a reason. They tried to buy me the same way. I owe the alien some payback. But I don't owe your Earth a thing. We're going to finish this now. Now she tells Newt to stay put. I've seen it so many times before. This look, and Hicks, and General Spears, that's the guy's name, and myself. I watched them disappear behind the cold, still door of the airlock, disappearing into Ripley's obsession, all the time knowing what I would have to do. Arona's bombs were part of an old-style military arsenal located in a remote mountainside bunker. That was Ripley's target. The alien Queen Mother would gather her flock for nuclear Armageddon. Those not killed by the initial blast would be left without any function. I didn't have much time. Something had changed, Ripley, during our time apart. And yet, in a real way, she was the only one who was about to understand what I could truly do. And so they find out that the bombs that are rolling from the first issue were essentially de-armed. And there's a reason for it. But before they could really get anything done, a ship from Gateway Station launches, and we find out that it's Newt. And again, look, this is essentially part 2 of Newt's tale. First one being her time on Akron in the comics before River of Pain. Again, symbolizing Ripley. Amy. We'd never met, but I knew her. Her name was Amy. Her name was Newt. We would survive this together, or not at all. I wasn't sure where to begin, and then I heard the screams, just like before, like Acheron, all the rest. The sound was close, reverberating beneath the broken streets. The terrible screams grew louder, and I wanted to join them, add my voice to the rising howl of pain and horror. Oh my God. No! Jesus, God, I didn't want to die. So she's trying to track down Amy, and she comes across her father. Now, I love this as they're getting ready to unrelease the Queen alien mother into her new home. I love it says the alien knows death better than any of us. This place is filled with it. Maybe that frightens you. But it welcomes the alien bitch like an old friend. Now, again, the novelization really expounds on this. And again, Newt in that series is called Billy, and Hicks is called Wilkes. And I believe I'll have to go back and read it. I haven't read the book since 6th grade. It's kind of stuck in my memory. But Ripley was an android, I think. Ugh. Anyway. Ripley saying, we got to dust off. This place is going to blow. Why the hell are you here? Ripley had spent years trying to forget all she had left behind. More than family and career, she lost her self-respect, her dignity. I knew what Hicks was thinking, but he was wrong. This wasn't suicide. Ripley and I didn't want to die. We were trying to find a way to live. Maybe the little girl could show us. Now, I'm not going to go into the whole ending here, but there are a couple of things I'm going to spoil. So if you don't want this to be spoiled, pause this review, go get the books and read them and come back. You're back. So essentially, Ripley and Newt returned to Arona's mountain because the Queen Mother knew that Newt was coming. And what it says it in here, but basically that's why they kept Amy alive, because they wanted to lure Ripley and Newt to the hive. It's just the horror. And again, the nod to Aliens when Ripley was trying to take Newt off the nightmare world back on. What does she say? She doesn't say back away from her. She goes, hey, bitch. It's me you want. Newt, move over there within me. Get her back to the APC and wait for me. 15 minutes and this whole mountain's going to be so much dust. But that's not the point, is it? This is what's important. You and me. I thought I left the bombs finish you, but it's better this way. Come on and take a good look. It's the last thing you'll ever see. In just a great way for Ripley to finally put her nightmares aside. As we come to an end, we think all is well, but Newt writes a journal. Because the next thing I remember is lying in the dropship sickbay and Ripley standing over me. She wanted to hold me, tell me that everything would be all right. She was afraid, only half conscious. I was a little girl again, and I trusted her. Are we going to sleep all the way home? God, yes. All the way home. I'll never leave you. I drifted to sleep in Ripley's arms, knowing she'd still be there when I awoke. Knowing that it was finally over. It was while I was recovering on Gateway that I decided to write this diary, my record of what had happened. I hope it will serve as both a remembrance, and a warning. I would never tell them the truth. What it told me, meaning the other, viscerally as we landed on the alien queen's world. That in some strange way I must have known all along. We'd been used. It destroyed the detonators connecting Aroma's bombs. It had called Ripley back to Earth. It had sent us in search of the Queen Mother. It used us to eradicate the alien scourge so it could terraform and then take the Earth for itself. For an instant, I felt a wave of anger. Everything we've been through, was it all a sham, a dance for the other's pleasure? Then I remembered something Ripley had said. This wasn't about Earth anymore. It was about for us. We'd come to terms with our fear and our pain. There would be other worlds for us, new lives free of the alien. Human greed and rage had brought the alien to Earth. We had failed. It was time to move on. Perhaps Earth's new inhabitants would learn from our mistakes. Perhaps not. And it leaves it open-ended. Because the next official comic series after Earth War was Genocide, which we have gone over, so make sure to check the playlist. But I just recently ordered. Dark Horse kind of did an in-between, and I don't know if it was intentional, because as the Earth War in the comics ends, we don't know what happened with the other, the space jockey. There's a short story coming in Dark Horse Presents, which we'll be going over once I get it in the mail, that links the ending of this with Newt's diary, what happens with him, how the Earth starts to go back into reconstruction, and then even in the comic it says, to be continued in Aliens Genocide, which we have gone over. So guys, I guess because I read these books when I was in 6th grade is why this story is so near and dear to my heart. I believe, years have passed since then, but if memory serves correctly, I think I read those before I even watched Alien 3. Because I watched Aliens, and I went back and watched Alien. And then because, like I said, my hometown didn't have comic shops, so I never got to read these. But they had this little coffee shop behind my dad's shop, and so I'd go buy those on lunch, and I found the Earth War series, and I read it. Didn't realize that it was supposed to be Ripley in that regard. So this story really hits hard for me. So if you all have enjoyed what you've seen, please first and foremost support your local comic shop or wherever is going to get your action figures and comics, and grab this entire series because it is very important to the original Aliens mythos. If you've enjoyed this review, really would appreciate you taking a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Helps the channel more than you could possibly know. And if you want hitting that fancy little queen bell, next subscribe. That was I can upload content. You guys get notified. Come to the channel, and I love talking with you all and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments or the socials, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, everyone.